California's public
God.
golf courses to be converted to affordable housing complexes under AB 672. What about the impact of states' golf tourism and at-risk youth programs? A bill in California and California legislator authored Assemblywoman Christina Garcia is proposing to convert California public municipal golf courses into affordable housing. Assembly Bill 672 provides $50 million in developer subsidies to redevelop California's municipal golf courses into affordable housing complexes. Golf Week reported the bill would remove municipal golf courses from protections of the Public Park Preservation Act, provide an exemption to the California Environmental Quality Act, or the CEQA, and make it easier to rezone public open space land for housing. Golf is declining in California. The fact sheet also states in the 80s and 90s, golf was on the upswing, but as the National Golf Foundation reports, since 2006, golf is declining. Golf courses struggle to stay open. Some locales subsidize municipal courses. It is reasonable to expect the decline will continue. Anyway, there's a lot to unpack here, and specifically, the Assemblywoman who brought forth said plan turned out to be a bit of a chain yanker, if I have to say so myself.
What was that show? Crank Yankers? Remember Crank Yankers?
Yeah, I remember that.
She ain't yanking cranks. She's yanking chains, quite literally. Talk to me, Danae. Is golf on such a decline? We need to convert open green spaces to affordable housing. Are there other alternatives that we could adopt that make more sense? Should we take all the positives that come from at-risk youth that develop relationships with golf and find them another sport to bury themselves in? I don't know. Talk to me. Do the voice of reason.
Okay. I will. This one hits home again. I was in the golf course once. I grew up on a golf course. I was a golf course superintendent, so I understand this very, very intimately about why it's important. And so I will say a few things. Number one, just let's look at it on its face, right? The whole point of this legislation is to basically allow municipal golf courses to be redeveloped by real estate developers. And the part that you left out that was really important is they, being the state, will give these real estate developers basically a $50 million tax abatement on the property right off the top before they even turn a shovel of dirt over. Okay.
Ooh.
So, yeah. And the point of what they're trying to do is take this land, which obviously, open land and green space and things like that in the state of California, particularly on the coast, and this is only where it's an issue, is on the coast. They're trying to make this into not public housing, but housing in general, right? So who knows where this ends up? Who knows what the affordability of it is? California, and particularly coastal California, is not a cheap place to live. And so I can understand where, hey, let's look at what's the biggest land bank that we possibly have. Hey, parks. Well, can't use parks, right, because we'll piss people off. But golf will piss off less people. Well, I find that to be absolute motherfucking bullshit. Sorry, I'm just going to go ahead and say that. That's bullshit. There is no sport, no outdoor sport that is more accessible to more races, more ethnicities, more ages of people, right? You can play golf from the time that you're 3 years old until you're dead. Literally, 3 years old until you're dead. There's no other sport in the world like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so to sit there and say that this isn't worthwhile, that there's better uses of land, is absolute mockery, right? Mockery of looking at what, how California's developed over the years and the good stewards of the land that California golf course superintendents have been always, especially in the face of the most intense and scrutinized environmental regulations in the entire country. So, all that said, she's crazy if she thinks that this is a good idea. Absolutely crazy. The fact that they're incentivizing this to the tune of using taxpayer dollars to give up taxable money on land that is highly valuable is an absolute sham. People would pay money hand over fist for these things. To even give somebody an abatement to do anything on these parcels of property is also bullshit. So I can't believe that this is even being brought up. I can't believe that they would thumb their nose at a part of sports and recreation that is probably the most approachable of any outdoor activity, as I said before, and to do so on the backs of people that are probably hardworking people, because A lot of these are municipal golf courses. These are not the people that are, yeah, that's right. What really grinds my fucking gears. The people that are using these golf courses are blue collar people, maybe some white collar people. These are not the people that are country club types. These are not the people that are well to do. These are the people that want an outdoor recreational and wellness outlet, and they choose the golf course. And so if you think that you can do better with your fucking high rise, stale ass, taupe walled fucking condominium, go ahead and try. But it's not going to happen now, and it's not going to happen here. I yield my time.
Thank you, Ryan. No, thank you. Because I just see this as another giveaway, because I have a lot of experience with land and properties that are quote unquote redeveloped under some kind of a state incentive. And here's my experience with them. Yes, they're going to build all of these condominiums, townhouses, and HOAs, but I would buy a robotic mower. You heard that. If in fact those HOAs, etc., actually benefited the housing challenge. Because what typically happens is no. Because you know what happens in giveaways like this? The developer comes in, he develops the area, and as long as some minuscule percentage goes to a handful of people underneath the poverty line, he's met his requirement. But in the meantime, you have all of these properties that the developer can make bank on at full market value. There, I said my piece.
Okay, so the other thing too is, Matt, I'm going to ask you this question because you used to do some of this environmental landscape remediation, water gardens, bioswales, all that kind of shit. You can't. How can you tell me that by not only removing a large percentage of this ground from nature, essentially, right? Okay, and we know the positive impacts. We've talked about it on this show before. The positive impacts that golf courses, in particular, in urban areas, have on nature, right? Wildlife and others. How is this going to be any better? How is putting up a whole bunch of concrete, a bunch of impervious surfaces, and all sorts of shit going to help anything in terms of the environmental impact? I don't get any of this. It makes zero sense.
Because
Just
it
doesn't make any
doesn't.
sense.
There is no potential positive environmental impact of installing a bunch of impervious surfaces and pretending like it's doing more for the environment than open green space would. Here's the thing, and if you really wanted to measure it, I would be curious what the carbon sequestration rate would be between a housing complex and a green space such as a golf course. I would argue, and I would stand on this hill quite firmly, as some would say, I might die on this hill.
Wow.
That the environmental impact of having a golf course there is significantly more beneficial than having whatever housing development they decide to put up. Whether it be mansions or affordable housing or whatever the case may be, eliminating recreational spaces and putting in living quarters with how many cars and how many additional people, how much more runoff is generated because of decreased places for infiltration. It's a bad gig always around. And if they want to pretend that like they care about the environment, then you pick something else to go after and stay away from the fucking golf courses, in my opinion. Of course, just my opinion. And I hate to have to throw stones. However, this lady is also quite a bizarre human being. Listen, I'm not one to judge people by their private life. You know, what's private is private. And unfortunately, she keeps her private life, well, rather public, and to no shame of her. However, the lady has had several sexual harassment policy violations, including using vulgar language to her staff, grabbing employees inappropriately. Yep, by the gonads, and also calling gay people in her space homos. So I don't know. I'm not sure this lady is too much of a practice what she preaches kind of thing, when she's out there grabbing the old tea and berries and calling old Perez up the road there a homo, Speaker John Perez. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
It is.
That is weird.
Never mind. I was gonna say something really bad. So bad that I couldn't say it. I can't say that one.
When I was reading this here, it said the Sacramento Bee reported that Daniel Fiera, and I was like, oh my goodness, did I just get Babylon Bead on this article? No, it's actually a real article out of the Sacramento Bee. Thank you for watching this clip. Be sure to tune in to the Burn and Return podcast on any of your favorite podcast apps every Wednesday, where we discuss the industry's hottest news.